5 o'clock. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on this hot August summer day. I know we are scattered around the world. So if you are from the other side of the equator and it's winter for you, hey, stay warm. I know people from Australia or from Peru or some other parts of the world are also joining. So welcome everyone, and really excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about how to build a successful customer experience. That's something that every business owner and every organization should be invested in. And just to take a step back and introduce our community, the VBOT community is about 20,000 members strong. These are outside of the VBOT product. We have a lot more inside our direct community. So between our Facebook group, between our meetups, we are 20,000 members strong. We've been building the community for 7 years, and we've been doing these meetups every single month, except for a few months off. Since pandemic times, we couldn't do it in a live physical event, but we've been doing it, as you can see, remote. This opened up the opportunity for a lot more people to join from all across the world. The agenda for today is general intro, which I'll be going through some of the basics. We'll talk about the topic of building a successful customer experience. And I would like to keep the conversation open. So anybody want to interject at any time, provide feedback. I will try to keep this as a roundtable discussion more so than a one-way presentation, okay? I have a lot of material, but any given time, I would love to hear your feedback. After that, I'll provide you with some resources that VBOT has, and we'll open up the floor for introductions from everybody who'd like to connect, all right? So expect this to be probably done between 6:10, an hour, 10 minutes of your time. So again, if you want to go ahead and grab something to drink, grab a snack, please go ahead and do so. If you are ready, on the other hand, please leave us in the chat a quick two-liners about yourself and a link to LinkedIn, website, email, anything that you want. I oftentimes see people come early, leave early. So if we couldn't catch you towards the end of the session, we will at least have your information in the chat area. Also, please note that we will be sharing these resources with you in the next few days. So all the recording, the copy, and even the chat transcript will be shared. So any feedback you provide, any question, or your contact details will be circulated around for others to see, okay? Quick background about myself. My name is Richard. For those of you who I haven't engaged with in the past, my company is VBOT. VBOT is a marketing automation stack. And I say stack because we focus on the different parts of running a campaign, from the lead generation part to the lead nurture and the retention. So all those tools that you need to run your marketing, communication and marketing infrastructure is what VBOT provides. We've been building the product for the last 7 years. And we've invested a lot in making our product extremely powerful, affordable, and we provide amazing support. So this is really our core kind of capabilities and pillars in our culture in VBOT. These are some of the products we offer. We have top of the funnel stuff like landing pages, forms, and pop-ups to allow you to capture the lead. Once you've captured those leads, we track them for you. And this is probably one of our #1 manifesto and goals in VBOT, is to make you own your first-party tracking data, not give it to Facebook or sources from somewhere else. All the emails and all these assets you build in VBOT, you're going to own that data, from the open rates to the engagement to visits, how much time spent, conversions. All that stuff will be in VBOT. And then you have automation builder, where you can craft those follow-ons and cool automations inside the system. And then everything else from there on is about retention, analytics, and giving you full visibility of your marketing campaigns. We also integrate very well with different platforms, and we're only adding every month to our integration library. I won't bore you with a product demo because our product is actually very large and it requires at least about 45 minutes. But this is one of our flagship automation drag and drop builder, which you can visualize how the customer experience can look like, from capturing them on a form, sending them follow-ons, and so on. We invested in a visual flow. Although this might be common for many of you coming from, let's say, HubSpot or Infusionsoft or any of these guys, the difference is that our automation is super flexible and we provide multi-channel. So you can go beyond email, offer SMS, web push notifications, and even retargeting by synchronizing to Facebook and AdWords. We're only adding to these channels, so we'll be offering probably voice message drop in the future. We'll be offering even potentially some handwritten notes to be mailed out, snail mail to your customers. This is the first party tracking that we actually provide. We tell you exactly where the lead coming from. This is all part of what we track in the background. You don't have to do anything beyond putting that tracking code on your site. And the entire 360 tracking from there on will be done through Viva. And in terms of where we stack up against our competitors, if you think about the underkills of the world, those products who are affordable, easy to use, they leave a lot to be desired for sophisticated teams. And those that are pretty expensive, pricey, and difficult to set up, we fall right in between. We're not the cheapest product, we're not the most expensive, but we fall right in the middle. Okay. So this is in terms of VBout, my company, my journey, and I'll just, if anybody has any questions, I would love to hear from you guys before I get started with the presentation. Don't forget, guys, you are muted, and we will be, just unmute yourself and then mute back to keep the audio going. No questions so far. Cool, cool. For those who joined us now, please leave your information in the chat in case you left early and someone else would like to connect. This is a great community. People often find ways to find job opportunities, or if they're looking for talent, they could source out to the community here and pair themselves with some available talent out there. Okay. All right. We can get started. So what I want to cover is how to build a successful customer experience. And the outline will be in 4 steps. 1, how to build your customer experience strategy, identifying the 4 steps of the buyer journey. The onboarding process, after you've gotten those clients, how the onboarding should look like and how to personalize customer support. And finally, post-onboarding and retention. How does that look like? What you need to do, and what are the main customer success metrics that we recommend to you as a business? Now, keep in mind, this does not need to be a SaaS-oriented business or e-commerce or service. It's actually encompassing everything, with some of those metrics and some of those points might apply to few of them versus others. Okay. All right, just a quick check while I'm here. Is my audio okay? The flow is good?
Yes, everything is fine.
All right, great. So we are currently 45 people. I would like to ask you guys to drop me in the chat any question or concern you have about your own customer retention strategy. Okay, we're going to be answering questions as we go, but if you share with me at least one concern you have, we'll probably raise it along the way or towards the end of the presentation. Okay, and anyone who everybody who actually comments, I will be doing with my team a selection, and we'll have one-to-one with you to see how we can provide value at absolutely no cost to you to help you improve your own customer onboarding strategy. We've been doing these giveaways every session. They work great, and they definitely help us help you where we can. All right, so let's talk a little bit before we dive into the meat of this presentation, why invest in customer experience from the first place. This is a quick pie chart. If you are data oriented like me, I love to look at data. 42% say to improve cross-selling and upselling, right? Providing a better customer experience overall, help you improve your bottom line over time. You also can improve customer satisfaction, which can lead to where the better word of mouth, a better and richer community. And 33% is to retain your clients over time. The most money is usually spent acquiring clients. So once you acquire the client, you want to be able to retain them. And if you provide a lousy customer experience, your lifetime value, which is a metric I'll be discussing later, is probably going to be extremely short. So as you can see, all across the board as a business, investing in customer experience has been proven, and you can see it over and over with many companies out there, to improve your overall business and longevity. All right, so starting with your customer experience strategy, I want to take a step to dive into Eugene Schwartz's Breakthrough Advertising, one of my personal favorite book, which stands the passing of time. It's an old book, but I think it will apply. It applied back then, it applies today, and will always apply. There are usually 4 main steps of the buyer journey. Okay, at least the core steps of the buyer journey. One is knowing that they have a problem. If they don't know they have a problem, they refer to them as unaware. We're not really going to talk about that segment, but at least I'm assuming you already have a solution, and your solution is tackling a problem. Whether it is, if you're a service company, maybe you're building marketing strategies for businesses or helping them with their accounting. If you're a software company, maybe you're providing blockchain information for those who are interested in blockchain. It doesn't matter. There's a problem somewhere and you're trying to solve that problem. And usually when your buyers are in that phase, they're exploring the pain points that they have. They're looking for, how can they solve this problem? What are they losing by not tackling that pain? And they usually look for social media posts. They're on your website, they're browsing your community. So I think the first step of your buyer journey and in building your customer experience is getting into the problem aware, the first stage of your buyers, and how you can enrich that phase with proper social media posts, with better website communication. I've seen websites that are simple, compact, that communicate a lot more value than a 100-page website. And also community. Community is probably one of those things that nobody can take from you. Similarly, like this one, we've been investing in our community, not expecting returns, because your community will always be there, not only to provide feedback, but eventually there will be some awareness and a word of mouth referral, okay? So when you're starting from the first phase of your customer experience, make sure that aligns with their level of the buying journey. So problem where they want to hear about their pain points. Your posts, website, blog articles, and communities should have some sort of element to talk about the problem where, about the problem. Then they move on to becoming solution aware. During that phase, they actually look for solutions for their pain points. Now they dive deeper. They understand the pain, they understand the consequences. Now they want some sort of a solution. And at that point, they are looking to, or more flexible, to fill in forms, surveys, get emails from you, engage with your emails. And that at that particular stage, your content should be focused on helping them solve that problem. Okay, not selling them at that point. It's too early. Let's just tell them or give them the value they are looking for so they could solve the pain point that they have. So that's the second phase of the buyer journey. Now that they've done enough homework, they read enough content that your awesome team has put together, they move on to comparing products and services. Because eventually, if someone knows they have a problem and there's a solution for it, they'll be willing to invest, obviously, their money. Just a logical progression of how we buy things. And at this point, people usually either request a demo, they book a calendar, they want to talk to sales, they sign up to a free demo of some sort, or your product if you're a SaaS company. So at that point, your communication, your content should be around getting them to properly onboard on the platform. Your sales team should be communicating value, not talking about the product, but how this solution is going to solve their problem. What will they gain? The benefits, case studies. And finally, once they are most aware, they're probably negotiating pricing and terms. So this is where your contracts, your onboarding process, and your review process should also align with the flow, okay? Now, the reason I synthesize this into these 4 steps is primarily because I've seen a lot of disconnect. People often jump into the most aware and they want, or the product aware, and they talk a lot about their product, their service. Nobody cares about us as a product or service. People want to solve an issue, and this is where we step in. So this is kind of the 4 steps of your buyer journey. I want to take a quick pause here to see if anyone wants to add to this, or anybody has insights they would like to share with us on these levels. Don't forget, you are muted. You can unmute yourself, or you can leave the question in the chat. And Elsa, George, please help me if I'm missing anything in the chat. Here we go.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
Richard, we're having a question. Sorry, we're having a question from, not actually a question, but Ron is saying that they are using VBout to improve their customer onboarding experience, but they are having issues with the if/then experience to provide a customized experience.
Got it. That's probably troubleshooting issues. Happy to take this on and as a support ticket. And I apologize. Who was it that asked the question?
Ron.
Ron. Okay, sorry, Ron. It's hard to troubleshoot these during these sessions, but happy to take it on. George, please take Ron's information, and we can have the support team reach out for troubleshooting any of these questions. Okay.
Of course. Yes.
Cool. So Jody said, when you are a founder, it's easy to want to jump to the sale. That's absolutely true. Sometimes when you are leading and you want to see sales, you want to see numbers, sometimes you can get a little bit pushy, but me and my team always talk about consultative selling. We don't like to sell products. We like to sell solutions for the problem. So I agree. Sometimes we're too fast to selling.
Richard, this is Ron. Can I respond? I'm not
Absolutely.
asking the actual steps, but the strategy involved of how would you, within your product, use Vout to have a strategy to have a customized experience versus just sending the same 7 emails every time, but based on how they interact, or what would be your strategy behind that? I apologize for not being more clear, but hopefully you can, it's not more of the how to, it's strategy.
Got it, Ron. Thank you. No worries. So I guess in terms of how you deploy marketing automation in that capacity, we use lead scoring a lot to identify where people are in the funnel. So lead scoring is definitely one of those great tools that we provide in VBout that you can deploy regardless what kind of business you're in. And that will help us kind of craft the content into the content inventory. So in VBout, I have a sheet of all the content for those who are problem aware. So we talk about the pains of running multiple platforms, and how can you what are you losing in your social media strategy? So this is the problem aware inventory, and I have probably about 20 articles there. And then I move on to the solution aware. These are people who know there are solutions, and they are starting to probably explore how using marketing automation can help your business. And now I have an inventory of that bucket of people. Moving on to product and most aware, I have also content in all of these. And then inside automation, we can deploy certain triggers based on, let's say I have a score of problem aware, let's 1 to 30. This is the kind of content that applies to them. And we have some if and else options to do that. I think it could be probably a little deeper conversation, however, but I think deploying your lead scoring points in VBout, 1, 2, creating your content inventory to align with the different stages, because everybody have content, or most people have content, and that this will allow you to craft those journeys accordingly. All right, so we have some others are asking, how can the steps be in e-commerce? I think in e-commerce, maybe the sales cycle, depending on your e-commerce business, is faster, but it's always the same thing. You know, I don't know, I need to get better earphones because I'm having issues with my existing one. So I might go to a few places and maybe look up earphones with, you know, long battery life, and then move on from there to find some results. And then I'll move on to reviews. When I find the reviews, I will check through pricing, and then I'll try to find the same product somewhere else to see if it's cheaper or more expensive. And then I make a purchase. So if you are able to deliver that content to me across the board, that definitely makes my experience of buying a lot easier. All right. And one more here, we have recently switched to leading with pain points and making our entire sales process around the customer and their pain. It has been a major breakthrough. Gaining trust has never been easier. Absolutely. And I don't have the name, I just have Smart WSI. So it definitely makes a lot of sense to lead with the pain, right? Because we sell through emotions. Everybody is, let me see if I can pull up something here that's quite relevant. So how you're speaking to your customers and their different, here we go. So this pyramid, which I'm about to share, it's quite interesting. So this is the value pyramid. Obviously, there are some products that are making a social impact. These are self-transcendence, life-changing, like hope, motivation, affiliation, and belonging. Then you can talk using the emotional level of the pyramid, like how do you reduce anxiety, how to get nostalgia. And this is where the emotional aspect comes to play. If you're in e-commerce, maybe you communicate functional benefits from integration, organization, avoiding hassles. So you identify where you are in this pyramid, and then you try to tap into these emotions or these functional benefits of your product. Awesome. Great feedback. Thank you, everyone, for leaving those notes. Moving on to onboarding process. So assuming you fine-tune all of this, you got people finding you online, and you've understood how they progress until they sign a contract, they buy, they become a customer. Onboarding is the second stage that you should be investing in. And onboarding is extremely important because there's something called buyer's remorse, where people want to find deficiencies in your service. So if you don't create a stellar onboarding experience, there could be a chance of you losing the client. So if you're in e-commerce, maybe it's a return. If you're a service industry, maybe you have an opt-out option and they could leave before the end of the contract. So either way, your onboarding is extremely important, and you should be focusing and investing heavily in it. So let's dissect this a little bit more. One is customizing the experience. I've often seen companies just create a bunch of templates and throw it at the client's way. And we ourselves have paid in the past top dollars to get just templates and presentations we could have otherwise found online. So I would like to hear from you, who here has been through that experience where they paid top dollars and they were just provided some things and resources to shuffle through, except of having a personalized experience. Please leave that in the chat. Jody's one. What we do in VBout, and I'll just take us as an example for now, we take every client as a special case. So we always have a template, and so you should. but that template needs to be applied to the customer, and you need to get the customer's feedback in terms of how to personalize their experience for them. Okay. And in this particular case, I'm not talking about an onboarding process that's for the masses and you have a low touch $50 product. I'm probably talking about a service where you're getting $5,000 to $10,000 a year worth of client memberships. So if the onboarding process have a cost, personalize that experience. I've seen companies go from their onboarding revenue being 5% of their business all the way up to 30 and 40% of their business by personalizing it and providing better value. We also have Benny, who also got paid top dollars for unpersonalized onboarding, and Alex as well. Awesome. It's very important to kind of channel your customer concerns, understand what they're expecting coming on board. Conversation is extremely helpful. It definitely should start with your sales team and those consultations you've done before selling. But once the sale is made, ask those questions to your customers. What are you afraid of? What are you expecting? This is what we're going to be doing together. Make the process extremely clear. Okay. Sometimes we fail to do that, and it's okay as long as you're open to having a back and forth conversation to fix the problem. Okay. We got a lot of customers coming to us. They had bad experiences in the past. They were burned by an agency, or they invested in the wrong product, or maybe somebody who just hijacked their entire marketing campaign because they disappeared or they were pissed off. Don't let that happen. Have full expectations set up front, and certainly channel their concern ahead of time. Cool. I have a comment from Dan. Dan said, sometimes we found that people don't want a personalized onboarding experience, too time consuming, just want to get started, lose enthusiasm during the onboarding process, etc. That's a great point, Dan. So are you asking this because you're offering an onboarding experience and your customers are losing interest and not interested in personalizing it? Okay. And what kind of business are you in, Dan? And this is a great case study, guys. Virtual school, yes. So I guess industry by industry differs, right? Some is it a free onboarding or is it priced onboarding? Are you charging for it? Usually that's the problem. People don't perceive the value of free. Oftentimes they think that free equates to it's not worth their time. The moment they pay $1 for getting that onboarding process, they start to see their time, which they took effort into making that $1 equates into more value. I'm not saying that is the absolute reason why it is what it is with you. There could be some other factors. Maybe your content is boring. I don't know. Maybe it's just the clientele you're working with. But I do think that charging for onboarding, okay, at least premium, or giving the option for self-onboarding and premium onboarding can potentially make a difference. And don't be afraid to experiment with both options, okay? So thanks a lot, Dan, for this case example here. Awesome. Second, onboarding your employees and making sure your employees understand what they're doing, what they're working with, and the value of the company. I try to have these every week with my company, with my team members and onboarding team. Onboarding team, we have sprints every day or other day, and the entire sales and marketing every week, where we discuss the wins, the losses, where we can optimize to try to make things better over time. I've often seen companies don't have enough visibility. There's a disconnect between employees, whether it's internal drama, whether it's a lack of productivity products that helps them connect. But I think as founders or onboarding managers, depending how you're structured your organization, there has to be an effort and time invested into continuously educating your employees. Okay. So if your employees are well trained on the process, the agenda, and everything that I just discussed so far, that's going to be a win for everybody. Also, show them how they're impacting the end experience of the user or of the client after the onboarding, whether it's a review where I've oftentimes seen my clients mention particular team members in the organization and how much they've helped them get through the process. That's really important. Motivates the team. They know they have, they're leaving an impact, and it's part of the process as well. So I have Boone who said, I agree, Richard. When I went to college on student loans, I didn't care. Then I went back to school, no loans, and took everything seriously, ended up with honors. But great job, Boone. Again, when you're paying for something, it's always drives you to put more effort into it. Absolutely. So a second point of the onboarding process is to train your employees. Anybody wants to add to this? Awesome. All right, collecting data along the way. And I'm a data-driven person. I love to look at my cohorts, how things are working or not. Sometimes I do it religiously during a period of the year. Sometimes I do it on a weekly basis. But when we're onboarding our clients, we gauge some metrics. For example, if they start to postpone things, they're not interested, or maybe there's some issue. If they're implementing things or things are taking longer to get done because we give them a little bit of homework. These are small homework that could take maybe 15, 20 minutes of their time before each session. If they're doing them and they're coming on time, we know they're excited. We know progress is working. It helps you when you are communicating with them through the onboarding process to understand their needs at the deeper level, which helps you make your product or service better. Okay. Don't afraid to ask. And this is something I've learned along the way. Just ask your clients if something is not working, what are they expecting? How would you like them to tweak things around? Okay. Once the client is on board, they're investing money and time to attend those sessions, there will definitely be more likely to be more open sharing opinion. Okay. And also there could be some things if you are running a SaaS company, like how many times they've logged into the system, the length of the session. If you're offering some upgrades or downgrades, there could be some upgrades and downgrades done along the way. If there are tickets being opened as they are in the onboarding process. And again, sometimes onboarding could be 1 or 2 sessions, or sometimes it could be stretched over a month or 2, depending on how complex your product is. But overall, try to measure these things along the way. And whoever's doing the onboarding or in charge of it should be looking at that data at a deeper level. All right, so I have a question from Peter. How do you be flexible of the client time when they delay getting you information? This happens all the time. It's just the nature of working with busy executives. And at the end of the day, no matter what product it is, it's a small portion of what the other company is running. This is why we make our, well, I know in your case, Peter, you're a service-based industry. So sometimes you need them to get you content, for example, right? Because otherwise you cannot launch the website. Or maybe you need them to approve a specific artwork, right, Peter? Is this kind of delays that you're getting? All right. So one way to tackle this.
Exactly. It's content approval, it's image assets, it's content, filling out onboarding forms, all of the above.
Absolutely. Here are some things to test, and I'm all for testing. When you put deadline for every action, if you're a service industry, in our case, we're a SaaS product. So our homework and deliverables are usually not mandatory, okay? But in your case, upfront when signing the contract, if you can include deliverables and deadlines, If the client cannot deliver them, you have to move on to the next phase, and they cannot ask for a redo. Okay, now we always make exceptions to this, right? It's not set in stone, but when you put it in writing and when you tell them, okay, this is my second reminder, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume everything is good as we agreed in the contract, then I think it puts a little bit more pressure on them. Okay, because if they don't approve the content, you can say, okay, well, great, you guys approve it, I'm going to move on and implement it, there's no going back. If you can try this with a better tone and a better way to deliver it, I think you can find a little bit better deliverables. Okay. All right, no worries, Alex, we'll make this available anyways, and thank you for attending. All right, strengthening the relationship with your customers. And this is where you can start activating things beyond the onboarding process, because you don't want the communication to strictly be when you are on these sessions. You can start activating an email and onboarding sequence. Okay, when your clients are speaking to you, they see your email, they're more likely to open it. Okay, I'm not going to go into the best practices for emails and how to deliver winning subject lines and all of that. But if you activate a good sequence, and I'll show you an example, that's a perfect time to do it. You can also connect with them on social media. Once you get a client, add them on LinkedIn. If you are okay with getting into Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, follow them, engage and like. When people see them or your clients see you engaging with them and engaging with their content, they actually get to know you a little bit better outside the scope of work. Maybe you like them on LinkedIn, they follow you, they read some of your content. Maybe that funny TikTok they made got a comment from you, and now they went and saw you being all silly on TikTok. So, these kind of engagements are recommended if you want to strengthen the relationship with your customers. Some of you don't have the time, and I totally get it, but a little bit of investment of your time every day, I think it helps. Also, harvesting and growing your community. I always come back to community because it's the one thing that nobody can take from you. It doesn't matter if third-party cookie or first-party cookie is gone. Your community will be there if you are providing value. So I think everybody day one should be thinking about, okay, we're going to do a Slack community. We're going to do a meetup. We're going to do a Facebook group. We're going to be doing tribe.co, which is a great way also to harvest a community. Whatever it is, invest in them because they will appreciate it. So these are the points in terms of strengthening the relationship during the onboarding process and getting them into that stage of getting better, knowing them and them knowing you. Any questions here? Anybody wants to add?
We have a question.
Which is the best way to go deeper into the customer needs without affect the time of the onboarding process? All right, I think, Deborah, there always have to be some sort of boundary as in terms of how much you're gonna personalize and tweak the onboarding process. I think it all comes in on the first session to lay out the land and put the expectations in place and ask the client, what are you expecting from this onboarding? Okay. Are your goals to create a better email program? And do you mind sharing what your business is? That's for Deborah. So during the onboarding process, you identified where they want to get the value and where they want to enhance, then obviously you'll be able to tweak the entire process thereafter around that need. So Deborah is in virtual communication services and languages. Okay. So I'm assuming maybe if you're targeting businesses and coaching them to speak better on Zoom and that type of stuff. Is that right, Deborah? Okay. And I think it comes with experience. Once you've worked with several clients, they'll probably fall into a few buckets. I think the rule of thumb is if your main client base, your 80% of your clientele are within 4 to 6 different niches, eventually you're going to start having templated needs, which is the reality of most businesses. So if you're focusing on B2B and the specific industry, which you'll find 80% of your business may be gravitating, let's say, around CEOs of startups at seed Series A. I'm just taking this as an example. Then what probably happens is you understand their needs across the board, and you'll be ready to personalize the experience based on those templates. It's going to take a little bit of time as you build your personas, but I think this comes back to the beginning. Set expectations, understand what they're looking to get from those onboarding process, and pull out that backpack of, you know, all the previous customers you worked with and what can you recycle from there. Okay. Deborah, was this helpful? Okay, awesome. All right, I have Matt. Is it possible it's inappropriate to add clients on social media? We're in the B2B service industry. That's a great question, Matt. Use LinkedIn, right? If they are active on LinkedIn, putting articles, posts, why not? You can even mention them on LinkedIn. So once you've connect, you can say great thanks to, you know, at person A, person B at the company for joining our family. And don't forget, Matt, that we are people selling to other people and working with other people. I'm pretty sure every single person you've sold have a non-professional side to them that, depending on the business, maybe a follow on, maybe adding them to your Facebook group, right? And from there, getting some engagement on a professional level. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think there are ways to do. Start with LinkedIn and see if the other services apply. Perfect. All right. Now we're still in the onboarding, guys. Okay, so we did pre-onboarding, understanding all your buyers and all the different levels, kind of catering your content to deliver all that message to the right person at the right time. Now we're talking about the onboarding for those of you who just joined. So in the onboarding process, once you've finished, what do you do after the onboarding is done? The journey should have stopped there, right? If you're a service company, most likely you have more frequent calls. If you're a product or SaaS, what you need to do is make yourself available to them even after the intended sessions are done. Okay, nobody wants you 24/7. And there should be some, of course, boundaries for those who want you 24/7. But make yourself available. Don't say, hey, from there on, you're going to be charged for every penny. It could be a strategy for your business, but I think leave a little bit open window for some additional sessions for those who need it. Okay. Sometimes, you know, it's our fault for not delivering the best value because we didn't communicate initially in the first step. Second is install a live chat on your client portal. Okay. Clients, honestly, most of them have a lot of things to do. So give them the method or way to leave feedback or ask questions easily. One of our most utilized feature in VBOUT is the live chat. And we have an entire department just handling live chat questions and putting enough effort. We didn't just pre-can our replies. We didn't just utilize a bot. We actually wanted to speak human to human. So I do think live chat should be a big part of your business, installing it on your client portal. And do some follow-ons on a monthly basis, okay? If you are, it doesn't matter if you're a SaaS or if you are a service industry, doing monthly follow-on or quarterly follow-on if you're a lower touch product, I think that helps. My success team follows on with everybody on a monthly basis. We do monthly partner meetings, and obviously we do these events. So we're always in touch with our community one way or another. But if somebody has purchased and invested in onboarding, stay in touch with them, because what always worries me as a founder is the sentiments of the clients that I do not know about. If I'm very transparent with you and the client is happy, they don't have any issues, then everything's good. But sometimes the client's having a lot of problems. They don't even want to talk to anybody until you give them the chance to do it. So that's my monthly follow-on is one of the things you should be investing in as well. Right. So this is in terms of the onboarding process, there's actually one more point here. All right. Offer add-ons and upgrades. Now, I'm not saying oversell them, right? You don't want somebody to pay you money and then you ask for more. That's probably the worst strategy. But if it's clear what you're offering and you have some sort of a marketplace or some sort of an additional services they weren't ready to buy in the beginning, make those services available to them. Okay, maybe at a discounted rate. Okay, expansion revenue is probably one of the most important revenues for any SaaS business and any successful service business. Okay, because the clients who already paid you money, they feel more comfortable paying you more once they trusted you with the deliverables. So having an add-ons option, upgrades, and additional items that you can provide to your community is key. Now, I want to differentiate improving services. You don't want to nickel and dime people. I'm talking about, offering completely new service. So if you are building websites, maybe you're offering maintenance, you're offering a marketing package, right? That could come after. If you are maybe hosting, if you are a service industry, an e-commerce, maybe what you offer is a 10% on the next purchase as a thank you, or a year later anniversary, or 6-month anniversary. If you're a SaaS company, maybe you can have some upgrades to a tier that increases certain limits on your membership. Whatever it is, keep those open and think about your expansion revenue, because you probably know expansion revenue is one of the metrics that most investors and most stakeholders will ask for. And you should be probably aiming, if possible, just like successful SaaS companies, they usually aim to 30 to 40% expansion revenue month to month. If you can get there, that's great. If not, you should be working towards it. And also make some freebies available for clients if you can afford to, give them some additional service for no cost. Hey, we also offer maintenance. I'm going to give you 3 months worth of free maintenance and 3 months worth of free marketing or posting on social media for you at no cost. If you like it, you pay me after. Try the strategy with a client who already invested in you, because it makes it easier for them 3 months down the road saying, yes, Rich, I like what you've done. My social media is getting a lot of engagement. I'm willing to pay you to continue that service with you. Okay. All right, so this is number 6, and number 7 here. Make your onboarding accessible and repeatable. And I have a question, so let me just take a quick pause. This is from Smart WSI. We currently do monthly reporting for our clients for digital marketing. We give an overview of their campaign and email them the report, and also do quarterly strategy. We get very little engagement on any of this, but more than we have the past via phone and meetings. Do you have any suggestions of what kind of touch points add value and are not just for the sake of calling, emailing? Okay, that's a great question. I think you should focus on 3 metrics for a business. And I think businesses always get more leads, more sales, more awareness. And most of your clients are probably looking for at least 2 of these. Okay, I've seen clients do this. We increase your sales by this much compared to last report. We increase your social following this much based on last report, and we've increased your email activity by this much from last report. If you simplify it to 3 lines, I'm pretty sure the busy business owner will read it. But if you have some sort of an engagement with them and you're selling them very large reports, I think it's going to depend on the organization. If you're working with a solo entrepreneur or a small organization, they're not going to have the marketing department, which has the creative director, the CMO, the analytics, the content writer, right? You're not going to have all of these. They're not going to have the time to dissect a very large report. And we do talk in VBOUT about telling a story with your reports. So if you have a bigger organization you're working with, your report can, I think, afford to be bigger. But if you are working with a very extremely busy marketing teams, I would say condense it into very small bite-sized reports. Okay, it could be 3 lines, it could be 3 charts, or it could be 3 numbers. Okay. And again, trying it, but it's all about telling story with your analytics versus just throwing the data their way. Okay. Cool. Now, in terms of making your onboarding accessible and repeatable, record those sessions you do with your clients. And Zoom has made it easy, or whatever you use, made it a lot easier for us to record them, make them available, compile them in a nice format, and your clients will have access to them. Use webinars on demands. We actually started twice a day. We have a running training that we're doing, an express training, and we've been getting a lot of attendance every time with a lot of questions and amazing feedback. So webinar on demands could be a way to go. We use Demio for it right now. It's not the cheapest product. So if anyone can recommend an alternative for Demio for everybody else here, please do so. But you can record your onboarding, at least the express one, that people cannot afford to pay you personalized version of it, and make it available on demand if that's necessary. Finally, provide more resources. I don't think your education should stop once your onboarding has stopped. Continue providing more resources and grow your content library. So you're always kind of getting, giving value to your community. Okay. Awesome. So Jody is asking, does it work on mobile? If you're talking about Demio, it should be fine. I've tested it. It's simple, lightweight. But yeah, there could be some other products as well, which you can explore, I'm pretty sure. All right. Any questions before we move to personalizing the support? And I think we are running okay on time here.
All good.
Thank you, George. Let's talk about support. They became a client. They're happy so far. Do not underestimate the power of support. I think it should always start with a great welcome series. And I talked about that a little bit before, where you set the tone and you activate your marketing automation. Okay. And VBOT, we don't only get you to the onboarding process, but every day in the beginning, we start sending you resources on a daily basis. Okay. Engagement is great in the beginning. It starts to go down in time. That's the nature of any sequence. But you've noticed that people, when they visit one article, sometimes they accelerate the process and they move on to the next and the next, and they find it on our resources. So I guess you set the expectations up front, but you have to provide an amazing value. I'm not big on emails that are all fluffy and just set the expectations, give them value, give them events they could attend to learn more, and just dive into the product. Okay. So start with a great welcome series. I think it's the must for every business, regardless. And with that series, have them understand how your support works. Now, if you are using any chat component or a customer support product, I highly recommend you engage, or you invest in channeling all that information over to your product. And I'll explain. This is an example of our intercom support chat. Every time a ticket is open, we know exactly who the person is, which tier he or she is on, how long they've been with us, when was the ticket open. So all that visibility allows us to troubleshoot a lot better and more effectively. We can create an onboarding sequence through chat, not only email. And this whole experience can be personalized. Okay. So if you're offering this chat option, make sure that you've integrated in a smart way where you're passing over the right data to your support of choice. And I'll give you an example of a very bad experience that I had with Google, okay, which is taking me 2 weeks right now to get an answer. Every time at first, they're not calling me by my name, which is horrible. Second, there's no nested a chat. So every time they send me a response, there's no nested, thread of what's going on. They have grammar mistakes. They made mistakes on my product level. I can't tell you expecting something from a company like Google versus expecting something from a company as small as us. You'll be surprised with the results. So don't make that mistake. Have the proper personalization so your team have full visibility, and please train your employees on how to use that data. Okay. All right. Thank Peter for attending. Thank you. And last but not least, I think when it comes to support, don't forget to ask for it. Okay. For reviews. I think real reviews from people, honest feedback is really, really important. If you've done everything right so far, you've helped them get on the product the right way. You've communicated value, you provided them with the onboarding experience, whether it's they're doing it themselves for free or a personalized package. You've set the expectations, you made yourself available. There's no reason for somebody to give you less than 4 stars unless your service sucks. And even in some places, I've seen clients that offered bad services, and not bad services, but service they're under delivered, but because they have a stellar customer experience, they actually did pretty well on the reviews. For me, I think you have to have a good product. Your pre-onboarding sales strategy and onboarding should be great. And that guarantees you 4 to 5 stars, okay? Honest reviews is really, really important. So don't forget, don't be afraid of asking for reviews. And unfortunately, sometimes you might say, remind them and be efficient of their time, okay? Now, G2 Crowd and Capterra, they do offer incentives. And those incentives can be in terms of gift cards, which you don't have to pay for. I think Capterra, you don't have to pay for it. G2, it's part of your deal. But every single review you see on Capterra and every single review you see on G2 has been incentivized in one way or another. But what we ask our clients is please leave us an honest review. It's not about the gift card. It's just a thank you or buying you a coffee for your time, which is going to be about 10 minutes, okay? So if you haven't leveraged the Capterra free review gift card program, I highly encourage you to check it out. G2 is very expensive. Your contract should be probably $20,000 a year or something in order for you to get them to pay for it, all right? Any questions on this?
All good.
All right, post onboarding and retention. This is coming to the last section here. How to deal with customers that churned or about to churn, and why does churn matters? I mentioned it before. It costs 5 times to attract a new customer than to keep an existing one, and it's easier to upsell existing clients. Okay, so with that being said, invest in retention. Right? Retention can be in meetings and onboarding calls and follow-ons, whatever it may be. Okay. So churn matters. And if you don't know what churn is, it's probably, maybe you're in an industry where you haven't measured it. I think every industry has churn, unless, I don't know, you're a service that will never, I don't even know a business that doesn't have churn. Does anyone know a business that doesn't include churn, which means losing a customer? Boone said lawyers. A good point. Maybe when the case is over, you can move on to another lawyer. Maybe your barber, if he's a good barber. So churn rate, churning customers is losing customers. Churn rate is how fast you're losing customers. So let's dive into some metrics here. Very simple, okay? First is, why do customers leave? This is a source from Forum Corporation Search. Most customers leave because, drum roll, customer service, okay? So if you figure not clear on why you're losing them, most likely, most of the time, it's one of these. Customer service sucks. The quality of the product is bad. It's too expensive. The functionality don't meet my needs. Sometimes there's nothing you can do here. You cannot build a product for everyone. And in fact, I've heard one say, if you're making everybody happy, that means you're doing something wrong, right? So functionality wise, you cannot make everybody happy. Convenience, maybe support is different hours, maybe the product or the service is just not convenient to them at this point. Needs change. Sometimes companies change ownerships or they change managerial positions and they come with their own agenda. There's nothing you can do. There's also happy churn, where customers, you know, they just don't need your service. Maybe it's an event based once a year and they just need it once a year. There's nothing you can do about that. So find out why your customers are churning so you can make those areas better. You can also identify who's at risk. For example, if you are a service industry, clients who are not reaching out to you for updates, clients are not interested in the data you're sending them. That could be a signal. I don't know. If you're a SaaS company, how often they're logging into the system? Who hasn't logged in the last 15 days, 30 days, 60 days? These are indications that the client is at risk of churn. If you're in e-commerce, maybe you have a frequency of when do they come back to purchase. All right. Always keep on improving your service. It's really, really key. You don't want to stop because that's when things start to go downhill and your competitors will always outperform you. Turn complaints into compliments, right? Don't take any complaint personal. People don't know you at the personal level, at least most of you. So if your client has a complaint, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they, you know, they had too many glitches in the process. Try to see how you can turn that complaint into compliments. And I actually learned a lot from complaints along the way than compliments. So definitely don't get offended by complaints. Turn them for your own benefits. And in some cases, I recommend offering long-term contracts if you're selling a high-touch product or if your customer acquisition cost is quite high. Contracts will help you recoup that. So if you're selling a product that's costing you $5,000 to get a client and you need 6 months to get your money back, I recommend the yearly contract, okay? Because you want to at least make 3 times what you invested in getting that client via your ad channels, via your success teams, via the onboarding process, okay? All right, some of the metrics we want to focus on. Average lifetime value. How long do your clients stay with you? Is it 3 years? Some people measure it in months, and this depends on the business. And also, what is their value across the board? So if they stay with you for 3 years and the average order value is $100 per month, or let's say $1,000 a year, then obviously the lifetime value is around $3,000, okay? And this calculation will apply to different business differently, but understanding your average lifetime value is really important. And it's really hard to do it in the beginning phases of a business because maybe you're 1 or 2 month operational, but if you have a few years asset time in doing what you do, then obviously you can calculate this a lot better. But do not leave your metrics untracked. You want to be able to calculate how much you're paying to get a client, what is the lifetime value of that client, and also what is your ratio LTV to CAC. If you're spending $1,000 to get a client, but the lifetime value is 500, you'll be out of business in no time, okay? Why we're mentioning this in a customer experience content, because if you have a better customer experience, your lifetime value will get much better, okay? Your clients will stay with you, they see the value, and so will be your business overall will improve. There's another one that's called Net Promoter Score, and I think somebody suggested that. I left it for now. Don't be afraid to ask your customers if they're happy or not with your service. I mean, even you see them in bathrooms at airports, you know, if you're happy, you know, the happy face, not smiley, or the orange one in the middle. So get your Net Promoter Score to see how your clients are happy. And there are a lot of services that provide it, or you can build your own, or you can buy a script that does it for you. There's also customer satisfaction, which is after you've purchased something or you transacted one time, you could gauge the experience. Facebook Marketplace is a great way to do it. They ask you to rate the seller and the buyer, or whatever, the two sides of the process. So customer satisfaction is on the table. Customer effort score. This one is how difficult or easy is your product. So if you want to do customer effort score, the questions are slightly different. How easy it is to find, your features. How do you like our layouts? So the questionnaires and the customer effort score are slightly different than gauging the overall net retention score. Okay, net promoter score. The net promoter score can include product, can include the onboarding process, your support, whereas the customer effort score, most of the time I've seen it focused on the product itself and the ease of use. Then we have churn rate. This is the metric that most companies dread, but you should have your rates measured on a monthly or yearly basis, okay? And make sure you know your industry average. In our industry is anywhere between 4 and 5%. In some cases, it can go up to 8. In VBOT, we're able to get our retention to between 2.8 and 3.3, depending on the season, okay? And this happened by fine-tuning this entire experience end-to-end that I'm sharing with you today. So I highly recommend you calculate your churn rate, which is a basic calculation of, you have 100 clients, 5 of them left, you have a 5% churn rate, okay? I'm simplifying it, but I think you get the point. So churn rate on a monthly and yearly basis. And finally, before we go into intros, we have the retention. How much of your customers you're retaining over time? And the math is quite simple. I know some of you don't like math and they're afraid of formulas, but these are honestly can be plugged into any Excel file, or you can be using products that does that for you. So it's the calculation of, how many clients you had at the end of the period minus the new customers and divide that by the customers at the beginning of the period. Okay, and then you can get how many clients you're retaining. So this is it. There are some others that you can focus on in terms of metrics. Okay, retention, churn are a few of them. Obviously, you can have expansion revenue from add-ons and increases. All of that could be easily looked up online. All right, so this is it, guys. Before I open up the floor for questions and introductions, I just want to share with you some resources which George will put in the links for. We have VBOUT's daily training on Demio. This is an example of how we did it. It runs twice a day as well as on demand. Twice a day, we have somebody on standby, most of the time answering questions via chat. They are pre-recorded by running almost like I'm doing it now. So it looks and feels as a live webinar. We have a professional onboarding overview to see how we've structured our onboarding and how much value we provide, our help and product documentation, and 2 additional articles that we will share with you for onboarding clients and agency success, okay? Whew. Hopefully this was good, guys. I want to open up the floor for some attendees intros. If you have to leave, we totally understand. We spilled over the hour here, but I'll take the next 10 minutes to perhaps just get some introductions from everybody here. I'll be calling you randomly if that's okay. And just tell us about who you are, your company, and just any final thoughts as well. So we can get started with Annabella Figueroa. Hey, Annabella. And I'm sorry if I butchered anybody's name here.
Hi, my name's Annabella. I'm a marketing intern with WSI. 2 of my other team members are in here as well.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the presentation. I especially liked the idea of, oh my God, I just forgot it.
That's okay. We'll provide the presentation for you, by the way, okay?
Yeah. Oh, the 3 months free, like where you offer your services, that's what it was. I really like that because it kind of builds trust because you tell them like, hey, we're going to give this to you for free. And then if you don't like it, then, there's no need to pay for it. I really like the idea of that and kind of incentivizing them, but also building trust with customers.
100%. 100%. Thank you for for attending with the team as well, Annabella. If your other team members are here, maybe you guys can go ahead and jump in while we're on WSI channel. Just unmute yourself. All right. I think they're a little shy. All right, we'll Anton is leaving, or Anton, do you want to go ahead and a quick word before you leave? All right, Anton left us. I got Boone. Hey, Boone, thanks for all the feedback here.
Thank you very much, Richard. I enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, well, my name is Boone. I'm creating a startup. It's called Preneurs. I can't even pronounce it sometime, but it derives from the word preneur. So whether you're like an entrepreneur, solopreneur, socialpreneur, I have a e-learning environment as well as a social media environment and a website builder where you can learn how to improve your skills in entrepreneurship or use technology to build out the dream business that you want. And I'm also going to be using VBout as an agency. Well, I am an agency partner, I believe, through my purchase, where I can help the more serious people out with their marketing automation plan.
Love it, Boone. Thank you. Congratulations on your startup. Please make sure you put your information in the chat so we can take a look at your startup.
Thank you.
And maybe you can pitch at an upcoming event. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll be ready soon.
Yeah, put your email. I'll have maybe Elsa, you can follow on with Boone, and we can do a quick spotlight next time. We can reopen
Okay, thank you. Sounds good.
All right. Awesome. All right, I got Dave Gustafson. Hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Richard?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. I don't know why you called me out. I didn't have a question.
We're just doing quick intros. That's all. Just tell us about you, your company, and any ideas or points you want to share, if you have.
Yeah, so I'm a WSI consultant as well in Colorado, and very interesting presentation. I've been doing some marketing automation already prior to being introduced to VBout. So not using VBout at the moment, but looking to learn more and more what differentiates you, and liking what I see. And today's presentation was really great on the buyer's journey.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you coming, and hopefully we'll get you on board soon.
Yeah.
All right, we got Deborah Lennon. Hey, Deborah. You are muted, Deborah. Going once. Deborah going twice. All right.
Hi guys, sorry by the
okay.
confusion. Deborah is the name of my wife. My name is Said.
It's okay.
I'm living right now in Medellin, and I work as operation manager in Grasp. It's an enterprise of communications and languages. Thank you very much, Richard, for the explanation and the presentation. Everything was really clear and really fresh. And you know, we have some concerns about onboarding process and retention about clients, but the information that you show us today, it would be really useful for us.
Awesome. Welcome aboard from Medellin. And we'll be sharing this presentation. So hopefully, if you want to recycle it, repurpose it, or even use the framework we have a nice framework for onboarding, which we share in our academy. Happy to give it to you guys.
Thank you very much.
You can download the document and reshuffle it around to apply it to your own business.
That sounds perfect. Thank you very much, Richard.
I'll put in a link to the academy and also code academy.vbout.com and a code so you don't have to pay for the agency course. Just navigate your way to the agency course and just use this code, which I'm about to share. Okay.
Oh, great.
Let's see. All right. Very good. I got E Holmes. Hey, E. Sorry, I don't have your full name. All right, going once, going twice. E Holmes. All right, I got Greg Hill. Hey, Greg, welcome. Greg, going once.
I have to unmute, yes.
All right. How are you, Greg?
Yeah, and we've spoken before. I'm an agency out here in Katy, Texas. And my biggest challenge right now is finding new ways to approach businesses that will be interested in our agency product, which is mainly, websites and SEO and SEM, and being able to offer marketing like what with your platform.
Got it.
What do you think the best ways to approach to find new customers out of the blue? I mean, what's the best way to get them? I mean, obviously advertising or Facebook is not great, but LinkedIn works a little better. But we need some direction, I think, on where to start marketing our products more.
Got it. Yeah, this is definitely, especially in your industry, there are many ways to get clients or potentially scout, get leads, and try to sell. I can give you just a couple of ideas, and just to bounce some thoughts here based on my experience. Some people are doing LinkedIn approach. So first, they identify the persona. Maybe you want to keep it local. Find companies that have websites that are outdated. You can even do some domain lookup search for domains that are about to expire or domains that are quite old. So there are some strategies people do in that term, and then zone in on your persona. That's one. Two, you can do joint event with another person in the community. Example, the VBOT community, to see if anybody is looking for services and managed services to redo their website, SEO, and even build marketing automation. So joint events like this, where you have your own presentation, you talk about SEO or whatever, joint events are really good because you're tapping into the other side's community. Number three, you can have your team shortlist 20 potential clients you want to work with, create short videos, whether it's Loom or any Vidyard or whatever, and just analyze what you find wrong or can be improved on their site. Okay. And literally send them one-to-one email telling them, hey, my name is Greg. We are a local company here in Texas, and we've noticed your website has a little bit of glitches. So I just want to share them with you, and I would love to hear your feedback if there's anything we can do with you. I've seen this done successfully. It gets attention. The owners of those websites will actually open the email and watch the video, and you can track that. So you can call this free audit.
Are you saying a cold call first, or is just to send out an email with a short video on it?
Send out an email and then approach them on LinkedIn. Okay, I've seen this done successfully with certain companies in the industry. So they actually shortlist 20 local businesses or companies they want to work with. Okay, because they know they have a lousy website, or maybe they don't have a marketing presence because their Facebook has been inactive for an entire year. And then what they do, they create a video analysis or an audit on how they could improve it. And that video could be up to 1 minute. Don't make it too long. And then share that with them via their email, which you can probably get access from dozens of ways. And you can go to LinkedIn and actually connect with them and say, hey, John, I've noticed that, we created this video audit on your site. You have some issues I wanted to bring to your attention. You see what I mean?
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're focusing maybe, we're totally focusing on companies that are service companies, your air conditioning companies, your sprinkler companies. That's where our focus is on right now.
Makes your target a lot easier. Absolutely. It's a free audit strategy. Some companies use tools to do it. Like they have like a form, you put the website, they say how you can speed up the website, blah, blah, blah. But I think if you do one-to-one video audit, you don't have to invest too much in any tools, just the video to record it. And I use Loom. Loom is great, free tool out of the shelf. You can use Loom video recording. Just Google it, you'll find it. Okay.
Yeah, I use Camtasia, but it doesn't matter, I don't think.
Camtasia is I think it's not.
Well, that creates the video. You can create the video using a screen share.
Yeah, this one is a little bit easier. Loom plugs into your browser. So it's one click, it records, it gives you a link, it's hosted online. Okay.
Did you say Zoom or Loom?
Loom. I put it in the chat for you. Okay.
Oh, okay, great. Well, hey, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks for joining us
And you
on.
guys are going to send us this copy, right?
Yes, we will.
I put my email in there. Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. I got, sorry, I got some people who shuffled around. I live by faith. I don't have a name here. How are you? I live by faith.
Doing good. I have no questions. Thank you. I enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you and welcome. I have Stefan. Hey, Stefan. Stefan going once, going twice. All right. I have W.E. Perry. Hey, Perry. Just gonna call you Perry. Okay. Many people are shy today. I got.
Frank, can I go? This is Jay.
Yeah, please.
Hello, hi. So my name is Jay. I am the founder for customselfies.com. I'm based in Princeton, New Jersey. Basically, I'm trying to help businesses to improve their customer service. So I did some Google ads and all that, and I think the previous comments which you had, I think was great. Cold calling and sending email. But like randomly getting their emails on the website, right? When you go to the website, it's mostly their sales email or something like that. We don't have a personal email there, right? And do you think cold calling like that works because it's not personal? It just goes to their sales team or something like that.
Yeah, look, there are tools out there that helps you plug into LinkedIn, right? And then through LinkedIn, you can try, I'm still sharing my screen, right? You guys can see it?
Yes, yes, I can see it.
Okay. And I think I will pause the broadcast. We don't want to give out our secrets, right? Let me just, okay. I'm gonna stop the streaming at least. Alsad, can you pause the streaming?
Yeah, I did it. I did it.
All right, so what you do, you can invest in a tool which can cost anywhere from few dollars to hundreds of dollars per month, depending on the tool. Apollo is one of them. So the way Apollo works is it just pulls up. You go to someone's profile. I'm just gonna, I don't know, choose someone random here.
Okay.
And that overlay will allow me to get their email. Now, look, I'm not big on cold emailing. Okay, I like one-to-one conversations, communications. So for me, I don't use this strategy, just to be completely transparent. But if you're sending one-to-one email and you're very clear on what you're communicating, giving the person option to opt out, and I think there's value there. But those tools will overlay and will allow you to get Raghu Rao's email and information.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What is the plugin name? Apollo?
This is Apollo. It's a little bit pricey though. I don't know if they still have an offer. When they started, it was like 15,000 a year, and then they brought it down for a special of like 99 bucks a month, and I don't know how much it is now, but it's been glitchy recently. If somebody has recommendations for other tools, I think there's one for Rocket Reach. There's another one.
There's another one. It's Zoom Info. I know it's a little.
I looked at Zoom Info. They have a free plugin where you share the emails. There's a plugin, and then they give like 10 contacts every month. Yeah. But they actually have like a plugin which get installed on your computer, and they actually crawl your personal emails and everything, and they get those contacts. So it's like you give something and they give those. But their licensing was a little pricey actually.
Yeah, if you buy it, I think we pay 12,000 annual. You get like thousands of contacts, and you don't have to put the tool in your email box with a plugin.
Got it. Okay. Because I tried to get do like Google ads and all that, but it's not effective because there it's more for like I'm trying to reach for customer service managers or some people who are actually working with customer service, because I'm trying, my tool is for improving customer service. But thank you though. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, no problem. use tool overlays, I think will help. And Matt, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm the business development manager for an IT company in central New Jersey. We service New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. It's all B2B IT services. And I was just wondering, I heard you said you're not big on cold email, which is kind of a new realm for us. And I was just wondering, like, what would be a good call to action, maybe that would get you interested in maybe booking an appointment?
So you mean if I'm on the other side of the receiving end of the cold email?
Yeah. I'm looking for an outside perspective.
Yeah, I honestly like that approach when I have somebody personalize a video that talks about things that can be done and puts our logos in the video or talks directly to us, okay? Anything mass, because we are a little bit more advanced, I think we can pick up when an email is mass email versus one-to-one, okay? You can break down your list into 25 email buckets and just do that accordingly. Make sure it's fully personalized with the proper cadence and all the compliance in place from opting out, and stopping the cadence at some level. So what gets me interested for me is when you're talking to me, where you're not too pushy, when there's some sort of media, whether it's a video embed image or whether it is an animated GIF, and the subject line has to be catchy enough. Some people use the 2-word strategy where they say, last night was awful, or the short sentence strategy, or they do something that's completely unrelated to the email, but in the email they say, well, I'm just kidding. Last night was a huge success. We ran that event and it was great. I wanted to share this with you, Richard, because I think it's, you see what I mean? Some companies, they actually just personalize subject line and say, Richard, I just want 5 minutes of your time. This will be worth it. You're going to have to test your subject lines.
Okay. Yeah. I think because I've tried what you said, like make it more personal. I was doing video in my cold email. I would have like my iPad next to me and I'd actually pull up their LinkedIn photo and I was like, I would have their face in the video, like thumbnail. And I would say like, hey, this looks like a perfect match or something along those lines, and just try to grab an appointment. And hadn't been that successful. But I think maybe might need to just touch up the subject line. Maybe they're not being opened.
Like sometimes you have to have the proper follow-on cadence, it's quite tough. I've seen, I don't know if you can do this. Some people are doing ad targeting for specific companies, whether you're running on LinkedIn or on Facebook. You export the company emails you're trying to go after, and then you personalize the videos for them as an ad set on Facebook. It's time consuming if you're working with a lot of companies, but if you have your target, let's say, 20 companies per year, it's worth looking into.
Okay, cool.
So not only are you sending an email, you can send them a LinkedIn outreach. You can also have a retargeting ad going on, go around their company information.
Okay, awesome. All right, appreciate your input. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we have Lauren Owens. I don't know if I went through everything shuffled here. Lauren.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
Good, welcome.
Very interesting. My company is Rethinking Ergonomics, and I'm a posture expert. I'm a professional space planner. I make and help people feel good in their working space, wherever that is. So I'm listening to everything that you say as far as marketing agencies, etc. I also have a background in writing content and a creative director. So, and I don't have a background in everything marketing. So when I'm approached, okay, another little background is I hired somebody last year, actually 2 years ago. In the second year, they embezzled. They were a Google ad specialist that I ended up mentoring and possible partnership. And they ended up, like you had mentioned, I think I've forgotten what you were talking about, what subject matter, but you had said people have had bad experiences. And I was one of those where they tried to steal my website, my passwords, and, it became legal. And then I have a cousin who owns an agency, but what I learned was she's like a general contractor, right? So because I know what I know, when I when I talk to people, I give them a posture assessment. I'm an expert in my field. I can, what I sell on e-commerce is what I know. So I think that applies to everything. Every one of your listeners, are asking the same kind of question. How do I approach? How do I cold call? When somebody sends me an inquiry, they don't know my name. They assume I don't like my website. They assume, I'm not going to respond to anything that isn't personal. Something that they find out about me. I don't know if it's the video. I don't know if I want my photo from LinkedIn on a video, but something that they know that I don't know would be a good plugin. I do have continual conversations with a couple of people from an agency, but I really like the person I'm talking to, but I don't think they can help me because I already do what they're offering. Your platform is very interesting for the agencies. I want to learn everything that you're talking about before I hire you. Do you know what I mean?
Got it.
So your webinar is very important. I think kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's
absolutely. And we are open. We have these monthly. We also have partner meetings monthly, and I'm going to give you an access to our academy masterclass. It's $3,000 worth, so you don't have to pay for it. I'll give you a coupon for to give you lead generation and marketing automation strategies. You can take it at your own pace. We've actually brought over some very interesting experts from across the board, paid ads on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook strategies, content strategies, very, very good content. So I'm putting it in the link right now, 2021. And we can certainly have additional conversations as you start kind of feeling more comfortable. We're not an agency that's going to run your campaigns. We actually have partners on VBOT that can do it for you. We just provide the software, the education, and all that stuff for you. Okay, so it's a little bit of a difference.
very good. Nice to meet you, and I'll put myself on mute. Thank you.
Likewise, you can leave your information in the chat. I'll probably have some people reach out. And I do know that I think Matt said WebFX are good on the PPC side. So
yeah, we tried a few different SEO agencies, and we realized that nobody does it like WebFX did. We had a lot of success with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the suggestion. All right, we have Mehdi Ben Mansour. Hey, Mehdi. Going once. Mehdi going twice. All right. I think Mehdi's muted. We can go to Jingo. Hey, Jingo.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Good evening. I'm Jingo. We just started a new agency earlier this year, after I resigned from a corporate marketing job for a decade. And we had, several clients ready from Canada and the US and other countries. And then we started with, website and SEO, but then they started asking for, like automation. And so I look for, in my previous job, I was in product, so the automation stuff are done by another silo in the same team. So I'm not really involved with that, since it's a really large company. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I like what I'm hearing. And so far from what I see, VBOT is, is exactly what we're looking for. And I look forward to learning more from you, Richard. And I like the presentation, the culture. I like the team behind it. I like the attitude. I like this approach. I'm very happy to be part of the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jingo. Welcome aboard, and we will deliver. I have Jay. Hey, Jay, can you hear us?
Yeah, I just spoke. I'm from the sub-service.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The names are going in and out. I don't know why.
I know. It's okay. Sorry about that.
I got Marcos del Pilar. Hey, Marcos. All right. Marcos going once. All right. Shy. Did I forget anybody beside my team?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Elliot. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've been in and out of the virtual meeting, but I do have a question for you.
Sure.
I have a partner of mine, and I have started a lending company and a money advancement company in a very, very unique niche.
Okay.
We're going to be advancing money for legal services.
Mhm.
And we're starting in the divorce niche. Okay. So as an example, if a mother or wife, a married woman was in a bad relationship and wanted to get a divorce, a lot of times they may not have the money to pay the retainer fee for a good attorney.
Mhm.
And what ends up happening is they end up hiring an attorney that they can afford,
Mhm.
not the one that they really want. So my question is, when we start to do marketing for that avatar, that person, whether it's Facebook or PPC or what have you, when we put thought around it, it's not a good deal to do remarketing. The reason why I say that is because if they're at home on the PC doing some research, and if the husband gets on the same PC and sees an ad come up about divorce,
Right.
you know, that may cause a bad situation. So is there anything that I'm missing that we could use that could still try to advertise to that individual without somebody else knowing that they're interested in getting a divorce?
Got it. It reminded me of that instance a few years back when a girl went to Target, and she was a young girl who got pregnant, and then Target sent some diapers and offers or whatever, and her father saw it on her computer, so he realized. Yeah, it's it's a tricky industry. I think your main partners you should be targeting are not the end person, but it should be the attorneys. Your attorneys are going to be your biggest partners. If you can crack the attorney as the referral, you have no issue there with any retargeting. Now, what's the angle for the ad and how you're going to get them on board? Maybe it's just because every attorney, I think they want more customers. So maybe you're going to be the channel for them to try to get customers, or they could be the other way around, the channel to help the clients that they're not closing get access to funds. So you become part of their selling proposition. It's like, hey, if you work with me as an attorney, not only I'm the best attorney, but I'm partnered with a company that's gonna pay for your fees upfront, and you can pay them back after that. And you know what I mean? So target the attorneys, don't target the end people on the beginning phases. You see what I mean?
Actually, also you can target the communities that are helping women or NGOs. So if you see like a community interested in women and helping them, maybe you can target them.
Yep. Good idea.
Yes, and both of your ideas we've thought about. And in fact, I had told my partner that I thought that our primary target should be attorneys. Okay. And what I want to do actually is charge a monthly recurring fee to the attorneys to have access to us. Okay, because that would increase our revenue. Okay, and but we're going to have to stipulate how many clients that they can refer to us, because we don't want one attorney paying X amount of dollars per month and referring 10 folks a month, and somebody else paying the same amount a month and not referring any.
Right.
But anyway, okay.
Just look into the bail bondsmen, how they work with attorneys. They work hand in hand together. I know it's not it's pretty much financing to get their clients out of jail, but it's an added service for the attorney, and it makes him look better that he can get his client out of jail, you know.
Okay.
And the very best attorneys understand financing. Like some of them have credit card applications, anything at their office so the customer can apply and get them paid.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you as well.
All right, who did we forget? I think we got everybody. If I forgot you, please go ahead. But I can move on to Elsa from our team that helps put these presentations together.
Hello, this is Elsa, Program Manager at VBOUT, the CEO at Classify, and experienced in building worldwide teams. Thank you everyone for your valuable input. Every time we host these events, we learn a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsa, for helping with the presentations. These things cannot be done without the VBOUT team. And we have George as well, who comes up with the content and does a lot of the research. Hey, George.
Hi, Richard. Hello, guys. Thank you, everyone, for attending. It was a really great meetup. I also checked all the comments. Thank you for your feedback. We will send you the recording as usual, even for those who came late. And of course, guys, we hope to see you in the next meetup next month.
Awesome. Well, George, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for attending. We'll make this available for the presentation, the recording, and the whole thing. We'll be doing another one next month around, it's usually the second Wednesday of every month, same time, same place. And again, thanks all for all your attendance and your contribution. Really appreciate it. Have a nice rest of the month, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you.